Okay, so the pan that was in the oven is done, and I'll show you in a second. So you can see that the brown bits and stuff on the bottom are starting to come up. So I'm just going to give it a little stir, and yeah, see everything's coming off easily. It's just a good way to deglaze your pan. If it's like a baking sheet, for example, like I did from the oven. If this was in a regular pan, we would just do it right on the stove. But this is a way to do a roasting pan. If you had a roasting pan that you roasted all your stuff in, and you can just throw the roasting pan right back in. So this is hot. I'm going to let it cool. I'll just throw it into the next batch of stock to fortify that beef flavor. And the other thing is that I totally was out of whack when I said earlier I needed, I don't know, how many liters did I say of stock? 18 or 20 liters? No. I need 8.5 liters, which is 34 cups. So don't listen to me. All right, I'm just getting rid of this. So the next thing that I'm making is cranberry salsa, and I'm super excited about this. This is for my fall wrap, which is roasted butternut squash, Brussels sprouts. It's got Italian sausage and cranberry salsa and herbs like rosemary and thyme, and it is so good. Oh, it's delicious. And if you were vegan and you wanted no meat, no problem. I would just swap out the Italian sausage for sweet potato. So it would be roasted butternut squash, sweet potato, and Brussels sprouts, all the Thanksgiving veggies with the cranberry salsa. Delicious. So we're gonna make the cranberry salsa. So I just have a bag of fresh cranberries. And to start, I'm just gonna actually rinse them off, give them a wash. And then I've already washed the jalapenos. So in this is jalapeno, lime, garlic, maple syrup, and cranberry. And it is delicious. It's so good. Okay, so just give me 2 seconds to wash this off. And if you've never made cranberry sauce from scratch, it's extremely easy. It's just about one of the easiest things you can make. So you just wash the cranberries, okay? You put them in your pot, straight in, just like that. Okay, you add a little bit of water. So that was maybe half a cup. A little bit of water and a little bit of sugar. So I'm just going to turn that on sort of medium high just to get it started. Now there's maple syrup, so I'm really not going to put, I would actually not put any sugar because we're going to have maple syrup, which is super sweet. So, and by the way, name dropping here, I mean, for anyone who knows me and where I'm from, we're in Lanark County, and I get my maple syrup from Temple's. So this is their Temple's maple syrup from their sugar bush, and it's super delish. Love it. And so I just strictly get my syrup from them. And you know, get local where you can. Local supporting local. So we don't need this yet. So I'm just gonna let this start to heat up. And I'll just put a lid. Oh, my lid is upstairs. Okay, so I'll just let that go. It's fine. So in the meantime, the one thing I'm gonna do, and I just realized I gotta move my table a tiny bit, is grab a pair of gloves. Sorry to turn my back to you guys. Okay, so some people might be able to do this without gloves, but I definitely can't. My hands will burn for sure. I mean, it depends on the pepper. but I'm sure we've all experienced the unfortunate, you know, surprise of chopping jalapenos or some other kind of pepper, and then, you know, an hour later your hands are on fire, and like for the entire night it feels like you've got to burn, because they literally are burning. So I've got 4 jalapenos, but 2 might be enough actually, so we'll see. I'm gonna cut and de-seed the jalapenos. So all of the heat is inside the ribs and the seeds. So if you pull out the ribs, like the white part, and all the seeds, then it takes out most of the heat. And the easiest way to do that is actually with a spoon. So just grab a teaspoon and get rid of that. You know, hopefully it's still hot. That's the one thing. So you kind of have to check, you know, if it's important. I can kind of smell the heat already, so they're probably fine. But it's important to check if you're, you know, making something specifically for somebody else to have, you know. It's important to sort of check to make sure, because I've had, you know, over the summer where I buy some jalapenos. Now I have grown some in my garden, but before they were in and stuff, where I'd go and buy jalapenos and they weren't spicy at all. And I, thinking, you know, it was going to be hot, I just seeded and deveined them, and then sure enough, they really weren't that spicy. I can smell the heat though off of these already. Another thing to think about is, now you can't really get away from it, but when you're cooking on high heat with hot peppers, it can like aerosolize the capsaicin, which is the heat, which is what makes, it's the chemical compound that makes peppers hot, is capsaicin, and it's the same stuff that you find in pepper spray, because they basically isolate the chemical from hot peppers and they put it in a spray form. Anyway, so you can sort of burn your airways when you're cooking on hot peppers on high heat, like in oil, which I have done, you know, before. And recently, I just did it recently, probably when I was making this salsa. Anyway, so there's my jalapeno. Okay. Anyways, so all I was trying to say with that was just to sort of be careful. You know, try not to breathe it in too much. So those cranberries are starting to cook. They start to boil in the water a little bit, and they start to pop open, and the inside, you know, it becomes gelatinous, and that becomes your cranberry jelly. You don't have to do anything to it. It is the simplest thing you can make. So next time you're buying the stuff from the store, just buy a bag of cranberries and throw them in a pot with a little bit of water and a little bit of sugar, and you've got your own homemade cranberry sauce. I usually make mine with maple syrup and orange juice, like juice from an orange and orange zest. So it's like an orange maple cranberry sauce. Delish. So I'm just squeezing or sort of rolling my limes here, because this is how you make juice. You get this is how you sort of break it up on the inside and make sure that the juices are going to come out. So I'm going to put the juice of 2 limes because I want it to be a little bit sour to counteract that sweetness. So I'm going to take these gloves off now. Just remember that all of that heat is on my board and on my knife. Okay. Alright. So just give this a stir. This is going to take probably, hey, you can hear the popping of the cranberries. This is going to take probably 20 to 30 minutes. By the time 20 minutes comes around, it's already going to be mostly cooked down. But I like to keep going with it for a while just to really develop those flavors. So I'm just gonna let that cook a little bit more. So I'll pause this and then I'll bring you over so you can check it out. So here's the cranberries boiling away. I just turned it down so it will start to, because right now it's kind of boiling and I don't really want it to boil. I just want it to simmer. So I just turned it down, but you can see how the cranberries are breaking open and they're putting all that juice. See, this used to just be half a cup of water, but look at it now. Now it's infused with all the cranberry juice and all the seeds that are inside. So I'm just gonna let that cook away for a little bit before I add anything else to it. Okay, so this is cooked down quite a bit. As you can see, it's starting to turn into cranberry sauce, and I turned it down because it was a little bit too hot. So now I'm gonna go in with garlic. So I had, let me see, I think that, how much was that bag? I mean, it was basically one bag of cranberry, 340 grams. All right, so it's probably, I don't know, a couple cups, cup and a half, no, I don't even know, doesn't matter. I do everything by eye, that's all I was gonna say. So I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of garlic. Okay, mix that in. Okay, so I've got the garlic in there. Now I'm going in with the jalapeno. This is 2 jalapenos. And I just touched that jalapeno with my hand, so hopefully it's not going to be an issue. I'll find out later. Alright, so I want this to cook out a bit. I'm going to add in the maple syrup so it has a little more moisture in there. So I'm going to put about a quarter, maybe half a cup. Ooh. This is going to cook down, but the sweetness is going to counteract the heat. And then all that's left is sour. So I'm going to add the juice of a couple of limes. So it's going to get juicy, like it's going to get liquidy again. But then it's going to cook down again. And as you keep doing that, you know, the cranberry continues to cook down and intensify its flavor. So, I mean, ideally you would taste as you go. Maybe I'll just do 1.5 limes for now, because obviously the cranberries are tart as well. So you really got 4 to 5 tastes in one dish, which is what makes this cranberry salsa so good. You've got tart or bitter, sweet, spicy, and sour. And then the other one is salty, which there is going to be a bit of salt in here, but it's not going to be salty itself. But like on your palate, on your tongue, you've got the 5 tastes. I think the fifth taste is umami, which is that earthy taste that you get from like mushrooms and beef, simmered beef and stuff like that. So a little salt and pepper. And I'm going to let this cook away some more. Let it cook down, let some of that garlic and jalapeno cook out a little bit, and then I'll give it a try. Okay, so I just tried it, and those jalapenos are definitely spicy. So I am gonna add that other half a lime, because it's going to help with that spice a little bit, kind of offset it. And a tiny bit more maple syrup. And a tiny bit more salt. And and we'll see how that tastes. It'd be good to like throw a cinnamon stick in here, actually. I might just do that. If I can get it. So I'm totally loving videoing my food ventures here. This is fun because I have all kinds of tidbits. I mean, I've been cooking for over 30 years, and I live, eat, and breathe food pretty much. That is what I do. I don't watch regular TV, I watch food TV, you know, like I'm learning constantly. It's my passion. So anyway, this is gonna be delish. I'm gonna let it continue to go a little bit more with what I just put in there. Let it cook down a tiny bit more. Those jalapenos need to cook out. And we'll finish this off. Okay, so it's cooked down even more. All right, so I'm gonna give it a try and see. I'll get a jalapeno in there even. The bolder the cranberry sauce, the better, because it's going to stand out against the roasted veggies and the Italian sausage. The jalapeno's cooked out. It's actually really good. It's a little garlicky, mostly cranberry, a little spicy, but not too bad now that the jalapenos cooked down a bit. It's a little sweet, like it's just a little bit of everything, and it's kind of perfect. So I'm gonna turn it off, and I'm gonna let it sit off the heat, and it's going to, it's just gonna cool off, and it's gonna sit in the fridge, and that flavor is just going to intensify over time. Yay, homemade cranberry. That's exciting.